Hello everybody. So in today's video, we're going to be learning how to construct a dot plot and also construct a box plot so that we can visualize what a collection of data looks like. And these often go really well hand in hand with calculating the mean, the median, and the range. So, you all held your breath, and this was a sample of data from a random class. So constructing a dot plot gives you a visual idea of what's really going on, because when all the data is scattered around like this, you can't really see, any patterns that might be there. So to create a dot plot, all you do is you draw a number line with a consistent scale, and then you place little X's or dots above each value. So for example, 10 right there, I'll put an X above the 10. 59 will go roughly about there. 72 will go there, and then so on. And then as you continue to do this, a pattern will start to emerge. Or, maybe it won't emerge, but you'll at least get an idea of what's going on. So I've got 72 right there again. So I put a 72 above that one. There we go. We've got 54. We've got another 54. So I put it above that one. And then we've got 39. And then we just keep repeating this. So we've got 62. So that'll be about there. 58. All right there before that goes right in there before that 59. So maybe about there. And then we've got 72, another 72, 46, 58. So we've got another 58, I think. So we'll put that above that 58. And then we've got another 60. And then we have another 58. So we'll put that in right there. So it looks a little smushed up, but you can kind of get an idea of what's going on there. So this gives you a general visual of what's going on. So a couple of things to take away from this. You see this 10 right there looks very far away from the rest of the data. So that 10 might be a potential outlier. We've also got values of, 58, I believe, and 72 that occur quite frequently. And the average, or the measure of center, tends to be around here. So when we calculated our mean from before, we had about 55.6. That's around there. And our median of 58 is also around there. So this kind of graph shows you that the measure of center is still clumped around this part right there. So again, a dot plot is just a good way of visualizing what the spread and what the shape of the data looks like. All right, another way of looking at the center of the data and the distribution of the data and the spread of the data is by completing a box plot. Now, in order to complete a box plot, you have to have all the data in numerical order, just like you would do the median, going from the lowest to the highest. Now, the good news is you don't have to put all this data on, but you do need to find 5 specific values. So we're interested in the minimum and the maximum to start off with. So the minimum is going to be 10, and the maximum is going to be 72. And what we do is we put a dot or an X, it doesn't really matter what, above each of those values. So there's our min, and there's our max. Now, the median, I'll get to the quartile 1 and quartile 3 in a second. The median, we already figured that out from before. We know that that's going to be 58. And it was this one right here, because there have to be an equal number of data points to the left and an equal number of data points to the right. So the median was 58. So that's going to be right there approximately. Now, quartile 1 is like the median of the bottom half of the data. So here we have the bottom half right here. And you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values. So we want to find the middle of that. So 1, 2, 3, there's 54. That will be the one smack bang in the middle. So that's going to be quartile 1 because it's in the middle of the bottom half of the data. So let me go ahead and write that down. So we've got 54 right there, and we'll put it up here as well. So 54 is going to be approximately right there. To find quartile 3, it's the median of the top part of the data. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values. So 1, 2, 3, the fourth one will be our one in the middle. So that's 62. That's going to be our third quartile. So we'll write that down too, and then we put it up on our little chart right here. So to construct a box plot, you basically connect the minimum with the first quartile and the maximum with the third quartile, like that. And the reason it's called a box plot is because you put a box around the first quartile and the third quartile, and then you put a line down there through the median. So when you look at this, you can see the majority of the data is to the right. So that means what we most of the data is kind of like towards the higher side rather than the lower side. So, and this 10 right here, because it's so far away, that does indicate the issue. It does indicate a possible outlier, like we saw in the previous video. Now, what a box plot basically tells you is where the top 25%, the middle 50%, and the bottom 25% is. So let me go and show you what that means. If I go from the minimum to the first quartile, that represents 25% of the data. So 25% of the data were between 10 and between 54. Now, from quartile 1 to the median, that's also 25%. And then from the median to quartile 3, that's another 25%. And then finally, from quartile 3 all the way out to the maximum, that's another 25%. So one way of looking at this is 20, like if you look at the quartile 3 to the maximum, that's like saying that 25% of the data was 62 and up. And you could also even do other things, like if you look at the quartile 1 and quartile 3, that together is 50%. So 50% of the data could be between 54 and 62. So it's really just using quartiles or 25% to kind of describe where that data is located. But for you guys, all you need to know is how to construct it, and just remember that you're breaking it up into quarters. All right, if you need any help or need any advice, let us know. You'll get some practice at this, but again, if you want us to step in and help, just reach out to us at any time. All right, thanks very much, everybody.